Well, hello everyone. Boy, things have really turned around since we walked in here this morning. Now, after a solid trading day yesterday, when Monday's better than expected purchasing managers indices shed a rosy glow over most of the developed markets, suddenly now we're back to risk-off territory as Portugal and Egypt seem to be imploding. Two key ministers have resigned from the Portuguese government in 2 days. First, the finance minister resigned, and the foreign minister, Mr. Portas, resigned in protest at the person who was nominated to replace the finance minister, because her appointment would mean just a continuation of the policies that Mr. Portas thinks are just deepening the country's recession. Now, Mr. Portas' resignation is even more significant than the finance minister's resignation, because Portas is also the head of the smaller party in the governing coalition. Now, the prime minister said he didn't accept the resignation, and Portas didn't say whether he'd take his party out of the government, because if he did that, that would leave the government without a majority in parliament and really be a disaster for the country. But as we mull over these possibilities and wait to see what develops, Portuguese bond yields and credit default swaps are rising sharply. Well, they're still well below the crisis levels of 2011 and 2012, but anyway, the news is disturbing to the markets. In the background, of course, we also have the countdown in Egypt, where the army gave the government 24 hours to give in to protesters' demands. That's been pushing oil up sharply, just on broad fears of contagion to other Middle Eastern countries. Meanwhile, the Eurozone service sector purchasing managers indices out today were disappointing. Most of them, except for France, were revised down. Italy's was especially poor. There were sharp moves in reaction to this news, with both Eurodollar and dollar yen falling on flight to safety. Eurodollar bounced at 129.30, but seems to have stalled slightly above that at 129.40. For Eurodollar, there's some support at 129.55. After that, 129.20. But the main support is at 129, the figure, which concentrates some coinciding trendline support. That would be my target for today, 129, the figure. Dollar yen found support at 99.80, but that's too is turning down again. It could hit the support at 99.40 if this trauma continues. This is Marshall Gittler, head of Global FX Strategy at IronFX, wishing you solid trading.